Hello, you're watching Movie Snapshot Scenes, and this is the summary of Inception. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Dreams are supposed to be private, like a safe place in your mind that no one else can get to. But that line has been crossed in the world of Inception. With a technology that lets minds talk to each other while people sleep, secrets can be found, thoughts can be stolen, and reality can be changed. Dom Cobb is the best at it. Cobb isn't like most thieves. It's not buildings that he breaks into. It's thoughts. He and his trusty partner Arthur go into their target's minds and create illusions that are so real that the dreamer doesn't know they're dreaming. Making a mistake in this high-stakes skill could mean death. One mistake and the dream falls apart, bringing everyone with it. Cobb comes ashore on a strange beach at the beginning of the movie, tired and lost. A very old man called Saito drags him in front of him. He seems to know him from a past life. It seems like the scene doesn't belong there. It's like a memory or maybe a dream inside a dream. The story then changes, and we see Cobb in the middle of a major theft, trying to get private information from Saito's mind while he sleeps. But something goes wrong. Cobb's carefully constructed illusion starts to fall apart as the dream becomes less solid. Personal demons of his, represented by the ghost of his late wife Mal, show up and ruin the goal. When the dream ends, Cobb wakes up and realizes that the process didn't work. But Saito isn't mad. He's interested. He says that the mission was a test in and of itself. Cobb is given a job by Saito that could change everything. It's not an extraction, but something much more dangerous. He wants Cobb to put an idea in someone's mind instead of taking someone else's. Inception is the word for this process. Cobb knows it can be done, even though most people think it's impossible. It cost him everything the last time he did it. One thing about Saito's deal makes it impossible to turn down. If Cobb wins, Saito will use his power to get Cobb's crime record erased, which will let him go back to his kids. Cobb's only ever desire was to see their faces once more and get out of the prison he created for himself. To do that, though, he has to go deep into his mind, where thoughts pile on top of each other and time seems to go on forever. Cobb agrees because he feels guilty and wants to be forgiven so badly. As he starts to put together his team of dream architects and forgers, one thing becomes clear. The task itself won't be his biggest problem. It will be himself. Mal's shade is in all of his dreams, making it hard to tell the difference between reality and his dreams, between love and madness. Inception doesn't start out like most heist movies. Instead, it's a journey into the fragile structure of the mind. It's Nolan's job to make a world where reality is like glass and fear is the biggest threat. As Cobb gets ready to go deeper than anyone else has ever gone, one question keeps coming back to him. How can you be sure you've woken up if dreams feel more real than real life? Cobb knows that his new job will require more than skill now that he has accepted Saito's offer. It will require him to handle the impossible. Putting an idea into someone's mind isn't just about tricking them. It's also about making a dream that seems so real that the mind believes it is real. Cobb needs an architect, someone who can build whole worlds in your mind and keep them stable as the real world starts to fall apart. His faithful partner, Arthur, has doubts about the plan from the start. He says, "Inception can't be done." Cobb doesn't want to believe, though. He wants to be smart. Nash, his old architect, has let him down, leaving his goals unstable and open. Cobb goes to Paris to find a new person whose mind isn't limited by fear. There, he meets Ariadne, a smart architecture student that his father-in-law, Professor Miles, told him about. She is young, interested, and brave. Her mind doesn't see structures as boundaries but as opportunities. Cobb doesn't say much when he tests her. He only wants her to make a puzzle that takes more than 1 minute to figure out. When it's easy for her, he pushes her further into the dream. Ariadne is amazed in the shared dream. In a dance of space, streets get wider, mirrors get bigger, and buildings fold up like paper. Cobb tells her that minds are the only things that can stop you in your dreams. There is a catch, though. The mind can fight back. If someone dreams deeply, their inner defenses fight them like white blood cells when they try to get too close. Cobb is in even more danger because his mind isn't just guarded. It's also haunted. Ariadne sees the evil that Cobb hides when Mal shows up again, broken and beautiful. Mal isn't real. Cobb can't let go of her as a memory and a piece of shame. She breaks Ariadne's plan and kills her in the dream, which scares her enough to wake up. Cobb says sorry, but he can't explain what happened because he is so upset. The dream world is not just a place to play with your mind, it's also a prison for your feelings. Ariadne, on the other hand, has seen enough to know this. She agrees to join the team even though it's dangerous. She can't help but be interested, and she knows that helping Cobb means facing something much bigger than a single task. Cobb then calls together the rest of the crew. Eames, a clever faker who can pretend to be anyone in dreams. Yusuf, a chemist who can make sedatives strong enough to reach deeper levels of dreams. And Saito, who is determined to join to make sure the mission is a success. Their goal was Robert Fisher Jr., who was the heir to a huge business company. Their goal was to get him to think that he should close down his dad's business. As they make plans, Ariadne talks to Cobb again in secret. "You're not just trolling for ideas," she says. "You want to hide something." Cobb doesn't argue with it. His eyes tell the truth. This task isn't just about making things right, it's about getting away. The dream isn't just a job anymore. There are times when creation, sorrow, and reality all seem to blend together in this fragile maze. The plan sounds easy, but it will be very hard to carry out. Cobb and his team have to go 3 layers deep into the mind to do Inception. This is deeper than anyone has ever gone before. Each layer is a dream within a dream, linked by exact timing and a kick that wakes everyone up at the same time. But the deeper they go, reality becomes less solid and time moves more slowly. Cobb is aware of the dangers. He just doesn't tell everyone everything. The team gets together for the first time in a dimly lit building. Plans, sketches, and equations are written all over the walls around them like parts of a puzzle that can't be put together. Ariadne plans the dream architecture, which includes confusing cities, cold hotels, and castles that fall apart. Each world must feel real but not really exist. Eames sits in the corner and makes fun of Cobb's seriousness by being funny and carefree. He pulls out a grenade launcher to show how creation works in the dream world and tells her, "Don't be afraid to dream a little bigger." Darling, the chemist Yusuf shows them his new substance, which is a strong sedative that will keep them asleep through 3 levels of dreaming. But there is a warning with it. He says, "It's too strong. You will not wake up if you die in your dream. You'll fall into nothingness, which is a really raw part of your mind. Endless and empty." There's a heavy feeling about the word. Cobb's face is what Ariadne is looking for as she looks at him. Even though he doesn't move, his quiet says it all. He's been there before. While the team practices and tests how the shared dream works, Ariadne sneaks back into Cobb's thoughts. She learns the scary truth about his crime. A collapsing city made of memories stands in his mind. It's a place he used to share with Mal. It's beautiful, sad, and just plain wrong. Cobb admits that he and Mal built endless worlds together while they were stuck in limbo for decades. But once they were free, Mal could no longer deal with reality. She killed herself because she thought the real world was still a dream. That's the secret that Cobb can't stand. Mal's death was not only sad, it was also his fault. He made her think that the world wasn't real, which is exactly what he plans to do to Fisher now. Since then, the guilt of that creation has followed him around like Mal's reflection in every dream he has, ruining his work and punishing his soul. Ariadne understands that the mission is risky, not only because of the goal, but also because of Cobb. But the team keeps going despite everything. They look at Fisher's bond with his dying father to figure out what emotional weak spot they can use against him. The goal was to make Fisher think that the idea to break up his business was not a trick, but a result of love. Tension rises as the timer for the task starts to run out. Everything for the dream is ready. The toxins are weighed out. The clock has been set. But below the layers of strategy and science is something weak. Cobb's weak hold on reality. He's going into more than just Fisher's mind. He's going back to his own world. The day of the beginning comes. Every aspect has been thought out and figured out. Cobb, on the other hand, doesn't like going to places where logic ends and instinct starts. Robert Fisher Jr., their target, is sad because his father died. His father was a powerful magnate whose company controlled half the world. The team's job was to spread the idea that Fisher should shut down his dad's business, acting like it was his own choice. The action starts on a long flight across the Pacific Ocean. Fisher falls asleep while taking Yusuf's drug because he is tired and weak. The team around him dreams the same thing. The world changes in an instant. Heavy rain falls on a grey landscape. Cars hiss on wet pavement, and thunder in the distance sounds like the mind's pulse. To begin, let us look at the top level of Fisher's mind. But something isn't right. Out of nowhere, armed guys show up and shoot at them very accurately. Fisher's mind has become more military. "He has been trained," Arthur yells as he hides. The team fights back when they realize that Fisher's protection in his mind can kill them in the dream. Not only that, but Yusuf's strong tranquilizer will keep them asleep, so death will not wake them up. While being shot at, Cobb tells the team to keep going. As Yusuf drives a van through the crazy streets, shots hit the metal. Eames changes his name to trick Fisher by pretending to be a trusted friend, while Cobb and Arthur work on getting to Fisher's stronghold in his mind. Time starts to bend. Every minute in real life goes by, but in the dream, hours go by. Ariadne keeps a close eye on Cobb. When Mal shows up again and ruins their plan, he loses his cool. She's still beautiful, but her eyes show that she's crazy. It's like, you think you can get away from me? Cobb waits just a second too long, and the team just barely makes it. Ariadne starts to understand that Mal is more than just a memory. Cobb's guilt keeps her living. Even though there is a lot of confusion, they catch Fisher. They cleverly trick him into thinking that his enemies from work have taken him hostage. Cobb warns Fisher that they need to keep a secret from him that is deep in his mind. He is being told a lie to get him to the next level of the dream. At the same time, Yusuf drives carelessly through the city, while Fisher's images follow him. The van goes off the road, crashes, and starts to fall into the river. The fall is their kick, the shock that will wake them up later. Things move more slowly in dreams, though. The van's fall seems to go on for a very long time. The rest of the team goes into the next layer as Yusuf's world tilts and the water rises. From one dream to the next, they go through awareness like divers, going down into the mind's ocean. Already, it's getting harder to tell the difference between order and chaos, now that the task has begun. What's below them isn't just Fisher's mind, it's their own maze. The van keeps falling, stuck between seconds in the real world and an endless amount of time in the dream. While Yusuf drives through the storm, the rest of the team goes down to the second level, which is Arthur's territory. The world changes into a sleek modern hotel that is lit up in gold and filled with the sound of soft jazz and quiet footsteps. Even though gravity still works as it should, time feels heavy and slower here. Each and every floor and hallway is an important part of their complex plan. In this dream, Fisher thinks he has been taken hostage, and Cobb, pretending to be Mr. Charles, acts like he is protecting him. He turns the trick on its head with smooth confidence and tells Fisher that the whole dream is someone trying to get his secrets. Cobb says quietly, "You're dreaming, which makes you doubt yourself, and I'm here to help you." It's a risky move. Cobb needs to make Fisher doubt himself before he can get Fisher to trust him. Arthur and Eames work together in the shadows, creating images that make the lies stronger. The real goal is to get Fisher to think that his father wanted him to be free, not stuck in his legacy. This is done through every conversation and emotion. At the same time, Ariadne is watching Cobb with rising worry. He is falling. He thinks about Mal when the plan needs him to concentrate. The hotel halls are filled with her sound like a ghost that he can't get rid of. He is talked to by Ariadne alone. She says she's not real. She needs to go. Cobb's face gets tough. He asks, "You think I don't know that?" His voice shakes with shame, but she believes it. The fragile fantasy they live in is being broken by chaos. In the first level, Yusuf's car is still going down. There are waves in every level from the crash they plan to use as the kick. More and more, nothing is predicted as they go deeper. Fisher needs to be sure that his dream has another level where his father's secrets are hidden in order to go even deeper. The group sets up a big fight. Eames suggests they dig deeper to find the truth while pretending to be one of Fisher's trusted employees. Fang agrees, even though he is upset and confused. Arthur gets ready for the next drop by setting off multiple bombs in the hotel so that they go off at the same time as the van. He says, "If we're still alive, we'll all wake up when the kick hits." The team forms around Fisher and the drugs start to flow again. Cobb takes one last look down the hallway of the hotel. The mirrors there show him in a million different ways. Mal appears behind him for a moment, and her image watches in silence. He doesn't seem to turn around. He can't. They fall again. As they drop into the third layer, the world bends and falls apart around them. It's a huge, snow-covered fortress made of steel and ice. Fisher's mind builds it as a safe for his inner feelings. The mission's limits are getting close to being reached. They get closer to Fisher's mind and Cobb's dark heart with each level they go through. It snows slowly, heavily, and never stops. In the third part of the dream, there is a huge military base hidden deep in a frozen wilderness. Towers of ice and concrete reach out into the white sky, and Fisher's mind-based soldiers watch over them. The pace of time is very slow here. Minutes turn into hours and hours into days. The mission is now at its most dangerous point. This icy fortress wakes up Cobb, Eames, Ariadne, and Fisher. They are dressed for winter and have guns in their hands. The air makes it hard for them to breathe. Fisher's darkest secret is somewhere inside these walls. It's the vault where they need to plant the idea. Arthur is getting ready for the synchronized blast in the hotel above them, while Yusuf's van keeps falling toward the river. For the plan to work, every heartbeat, bullet, and breath must line up just right across all the layers. In this case, Eames takes the lead by changing into one of Fisher's security guards. He leads Fisher through the maze of steel hallways by telling him they are breaking into an enemy base to find out a secret his dad kept from him. Cobb is paying close attention, but his focus wavers. Mal is always there, like a shadow, casting questions through the snow. As Fisher and his team move forward, Mal shows up again, but this time he is more detailed than ever. She stands in the middle of the castle. She is beautiful, calm, and eerily real. Cobb stops moving. "You said we'd be together," she whispers, her eyes shining with anger. He can't protect himself from the mirage. It's like glass. Fisher is shot by Mal before he can do anything. There is no more time. The plan falls apart into chaos. Bauer's body falls into the snow. He wasn't killed by an enemy, but by Cobb's past. She yells at him. "He's gone! You have doomed us!" Cobb is scared, but not for the task. He is scared for what it proves. Mal's ghost is real, not just a dream. That idea he planted in her mind years ago has destroyed her mind, and she is live proof of his guilt. Ariadne is not going to give up. She suggests that they do something risky. They should go into limbo, the deepest part of their minds, to find Fisher's image and finish the job. "There's no other way but to kill yourself," Cobb agrees. He says in a low voice, "We go together." They fall even further. As the snow melts, an old city rises from the water. This is Mal and Cobb's world, seen from beyond the grave, a place with never-ending buildings, and no sense of time anymore. Cobb feels good about everything, but everything hurts. She tells him to let go, to forgive himself, and to end this nightmare before it takes over their whole lives. They find Fisher in a room that looks just like his dad's hospital room. Cobb looks at Ariadne one last time. He says, "Pick him up. I have to stay here and look at her." After some thought, Ariadne agrees. She pushes Fisher out of the dream and into the real world. Cobb turns around and finds Mal waiting for him in the broken-down city they had dreamed of. She says in a whisper, "You can't leave me." Cobb knows he has to do it for the first time. Fisher is now facing his own soul instead of his mind during the final fall. Cobb stands next to Mal, the woman he loved the most and is sorry about the most, in the ruins of the city they built together. From below, the ocean roars and waves crash into buildings that look like they could never be built. Nothing around them is real. It's just a reminder of the decades they spent stuck in nothingness. Cobb's heart hurts. What a difference a year makes. He now sees this place for what it really is, a jail of grief. Mal puts out her hand, and her voice is soft and begging. "You said we'd get old together." Her eyes sparkle with sadness, but there's something deeper going on. He can see his own guilt in them. Cobb moves closer, and you can see tears in his eyes. "Yes," he says in a whisper. "We had our time. I have to let you go now, though." It makes her shake her head. "You believe you understand what is real, but you're wrong. Follow me. We can be free here." Her hand feels warm and comfortable on his face. She makes him almost believe her for a moment. Once in a while, though, he thinks of his kids and the way they look, laugh, and run through the grass. That's the truth. That's what's ready. Cobb finally tells the truth that he's been hiding for years, but his breath is shaking. "I gave you the idea, Mal. You thought this world wasn't real because of me. That's what killed you. That's something I can't forgive myself for. But I also can't stay here." Mal's face changes. She looks at me with peace for the first time. She almost smiles and says, "Then let me go." And when Cobb does, the city starts to fall apart. The sky falls apart, buildings fall apart, and the dream turns into light. Mal goes away with it, leaving behind only freedom and quiet. When Cobb turns around, Ariadne and Fisher are already rising through the layers. The job is done. Fisher wakes up in his dad's hospital room. He whispers, "I'm disappointed that you tried to be me." Tears are running down his dad's face. He now has the thought that he can be his own man. Inception has worked. The team wakes up one by one. Arthur is in the hotel when the bombs go off. As the storm ends, Eames stays in the castle. Yusuf, when the car finally hits the water, every kick sends shockwaves through the dream like thunder. Cobb is still there. He finds Saito, who is now old and weak and lost in space. He was taken up by time. Like at the beginning of the movie, Cobb sits next to him at a big table. Cobb says in a soft voice, "We're both stuck here. We can still go home though." Saito's eyes light up with recognition. As soon as he picks up a small object, a gun, everything goes black. Cobb wakes up suddenly. The plane makes a soft hum. This doesn't seem to bother Saito, who is sitting nearby. The team looks at each other in silence. They did it. Cobb finally gets back home. The sun shines on his kids as they play in the yard. The small brass top on his totem tells him if he's dreaming or not when he spins it. It spins and spins. Cobb doesn't wait for it to fall though. He finally feels free and runs to his kids. It no longer matters if it's a dream or a reality. He's back home,